Jinping May Original Version Chapter 25 Wu Yunyang swings in the spring day, Lai Wanger gets drunk and slanders the immortal. It is said that the Festival of Lanterns has passed, and the Qingming Festival is approaching. Ximen Qingyu responded to the Count's early invitation and said that Sun Zizui was the host and invited him to play in the suburbs. First, Wu Yunyang set up a swing in her garden. Seeing that Ximen Qing was not at home that day, he led all the sisters to play games to relieve the spring sleeping in the First, Yunyang fought with Meng Yulu, and then came down to teach Li Jiar and Pan Jinlian how to fight. Li Jiar said she couldn't fight because her body was too heavy, but she taught Li Ping'er and Jinlian how to fight. After beating her once, Yulu called out, "Sixth sister, come here. You and I will play on a swing. Instructions. Don't laugh." At the moment, two jade hands are holding colored ropes. Standing on the drawing board, Yunyang taught Huilian and Chanmai to send each other off. Exactly, red-pink face to red-pink face, jade-crest shoulder to jade-crest shoulder. Two pairs of jade wrists are holding each other back and forth, and for golden lotuses are upside down. The golden lotus smiles together on top. Yunyang said, "Sixth sister, it doesn't matter if you laugh on top. I'm just afraid that you might slip and fall. It's not a joke." As he said this, he didn't want the drawing board to be slippery, and the high-soled shoes were not firm enough. He only heard the sound of the waves wiping off the golden lotus. He had held onto the shelf to prevent it from falling, and he almost didn't drag the jade tower down as well. Yunyang said, "I said Sixth sister's smile was not good, just like falling." Because everyone looked at Li Jiar and said, "The last thing you should laugh about is playing on the swing. If you laugh too much, your legs will get weak and you will fall down." When we were raising daughters at home, there was a swing set up in the garden of Zhao Taiguan's house next door. It was also 3 during the Lunar Festival. One day, Miss Zhou and 3 or 4 other girls from his family were playing on the swing. They couldn't help but laugh so much that they slid Miss Zhou down, sat on the drawing board, and grabbed her body. She married behind her. If you are told by others that you are not your daughter, you should not be kicked out of your home. From now on, you must avoid laughing while playing on the swing. Jinlian said, "Ming Sanner is not good. Wait until sisterly and I can play on the swing." Yunyang said, "You to fight carefully," but Duke Xiao and Chunmai were taught to push it aside. When they were about to play, they saw Chen Jingji coming from outside and said, "You always play on the swing here." Yunyang said, "Brother-in-law is here just in time, and he is here to send off the children for your 2 mothers. This girl is very weak." The old monk Jingji didn't ring the bell, so he couldn't hear the bell, so he stepped forward, lifted up his clothes, and said, "Wait for me to send you 2 mothers off." First, he took Jinlian's skirt and said, "Wu Niang will stay in jail, and your son will be sent away." The swing is flying in midair, like a flying fairy. When Li Ping'er saw the swing was up, she was so frightened that the person above shouted, "Oh no, brother-in-law, please come and see me off too." Jingji said, "You are very impatient when you arrive, so you can wait for me to take care of things slowly. You are barking here and there, which makes your son's hands and feet panic." So he lifted up Li Ping'er's skirt, exposing his red bottom shirt, and pushed him. Li Ping'er said, "Brother-in-law, take your time. My legs are weak." Jingji said, "You old man can't eat enough to drink." Jinlian said again, "Sisterly, you have covered my skirt again." The 2 were hit halfway to the waist, and both fell down, but it was Chunmai and sister Ximen who had a fight. Then, teach Yu Xiao and Huilian to stand on the swing. This lotus is holding a colorful rope in its hands, standing upright, with its feet fixed on the drawing board without anyone pushing it. The swing flies in the clouds for a long time, and then suddenly flies down, carrying it like a flying fairy. Very lovable. When Yunyang saw it, she said to Yulu and Li Ping'er, "Look at my wife. She knows how to beat her." Here Yunyang and everyone are playing on the swings. The words are divided into 2 parts. Wanger, however, came back from Hangzhou to weave Master Kai's birthday clothes. He came home first with many boxes and cages on board. When I got to the front door, I got out of the doorway, collected and unloaded my luggage, and went to the back. I saw Zui bowing at the door of the hall. With a smile on her face, Sue said, "Okay, you're home. It's so hard on the windy and frosty road. We haven't seen each other for a while, and I'm so fat from eating." Lai Wangyan asked, "Where are your father and mother?" Sue said, "Your father was invited by the people to play outside today. Your eldest mother and eldest sister are both playing on the swings in the garden," Lai Wanger said. How serious is it to beat him?" Sue poured a cup of tea for him to eat and asked, "My wife is on the stove. Why is she missing?" Sue sneered and said, "Is your daughter-in-law still the same daughter-in-law she was then? She's not so good. He just follows his mother and the gang every day to play chess, play cards, and play cards. He is willing to work on the stove." Just as he was talking, Xiao Yu walked to the garden and reported to Yunyang. Yunyang came from the front, and Lai Wanger kowtowed forward and stood beside her. After asking some questions on the way back, Yunyang rewarded her with 2 bottles of wine. After eating for a while, his wife Song Huilian arrived. Yunyang said, "It's okay, you have worked hard. Go to the room to wash your hair and face, and rest for the night. Wait for your father to come, so that you can see your father's reply." Then Wanger returned to his room. Huilian first paid the key and opened the door, then scooped some water for him to wash his face and spread the dust. Then packed up his robes and said, "It's a thief and a prisoner. I haven't seen him for a long time, but he has eaten so much." He also changed his clothes and arranged meals for him to eat after a good sleep. It was already Japanese time when I woke up. When Simon King came home, Lai Wanger came up to see him and said, "The rulers made in Hangzhou from Master Kai's birthday, and the clothes at home are all ready." They were packed into packages, packed in for boxes, and brought home on the official ship. Only a few hired husband pays taxes. Simon King was filled with joy and exchanged some silver with him to load it into the city tomorrow morning. He was also rewarded with 5 taels of silver and money spent in the house. He was also taught to take care of the comprador's things. Wanger had already brought some personnel with him, and quietly gave Sun Zue to square silk scarves, to flowered knee pants, for boxes of Hangzhou powder, and 20 rouge. Zue secretly told Lai Wanger, "It has been for months since you left. How has your wife been hooking up with Simon King? How has Yu Shao taken the lead? And how has she made a nest in the Golden Lotus house, first at the bottom of the mountain, and behind at the bottom?" In the house, he slept from dawn to dusk and slept until dawn. He took a big bag with him along with his clothes, jewelry, flowers, green money, and money. He asked the boy to buy things in front of the door, and he also spent 2 or 3 coins a day, silver. Lai Wang said, "It's strange that there are clothes and jewelry in the box. I asked him and he said it was my mother's." Zue said, "What about mother and him?" "It's my father and him." Wanger heard this and took it to heart. In the evening, after having a few drinks, we returned to our room. As the saying goes, when you are drunk, you open the box and see a piece of blue satin with a very strange pattern. So you ask your wife, "Where is the satin? Who gave it to you? Tell me the truth while you can." My wife didn't know what was going on, so she smiled deliberately and replied, "What's wrong with you, strange thief?" I saw later that I didn't have a code, so I took this piece of satin and put it in the box. I didn't have time to make it. Who was willing to take it? Me. Lai Wanger scolded. "Whore, what a mischief. Which one is yours?" He asked again, "Where do these jewelry come from?" The woman said, "Bah, I'm a blame prisoner. That one has no one. Mother, even if I burst out from the cracks of a stone, I still have a nest, but I don't have any relatives or relatives. This is a hairpin comb borrowed from my aunt's family. Who gave it to me?" He was punched by Lai Wanger. I didn't even have a chance to talk, and said, "You whore, you are just talking. Someone saw you having sex with that unethical pig and dog. How could you Xiao girl take the lead and send you a satin in the front garden? It's not worth it for the 2 of us to hang ourselves out in the house of the whore in Pan's house and work all day long. You are a thief and a whore, and you still want me to hang on to you." The woman burst into tears and said, "Thieves are destined to die. Why did you come to my house to beat me? Why did I come to you after I've done something bad? You can't even throw a brick or a brick if you just say something, but don't say a word. I want to know my whereabouts. Is that the talkative one who instigated you to bully me? My mother is not that baseless thing. She bullies people to death and chooses a clean place. You ask, the song Family Girl, if you stoop your feet a little and turn the word song upside down, you are a thief and a prisoner. If you can't get wind, you will reign. Everything must be real. If someone teaches you to kill that person, then kill him. That person. After saying a few words, Lai Wanger was speechless. The woman added, this piece of blue satin, as I have told you, was also Sanyang's birthday in November last year. She saw that I was wearing a purple coat and borrowed a jade flute skirt to wear it, and said, daughter-in-law, the child is so thorny. What does it look like? You just gave me this piece of satin. Who has time to do it? I don't know. Just edit my tongue. You have mistaken me, and I am not a forgiving person. Tomorrow I will just curse and listen to him. It will cost me my life, and I will not be able to find my master, Lai Wanger said. Since you don't have this matter, how can you get along with others? Hurry up and make a bed so I can sleep. The woman stretched out her bunk and said, it's your fault that you fell down the road and drank that yellow soup. It makes you sleep. You made me scold you for nothing. He threw Lai Wang on the king, snoring like thunder. The judge heard, as long as the mother-in-law who raises a man in the world, if she spares him a man's 18th degree of refinement and gives him a few right and wrong words, 9 out of 10 of them will be offended. Exactly, the bricks in Dongjingli are smelly and hard. This Song Huilian nest came to Wanger and spent the night. The next day, I asked Yu Xiao who had revealed the incident, but I didn't know the reason and only focused on scolding her. One day, Yunyang asked Xiao Yu to call her Zui, but she couldn't find her anywhere. Walking to the front, I saw Zui coming out of Lai Wang's room. She only wanted to talk to his wife and didn't want to go to the kitchen. Huilian was cutting meat inside again. For a long time, Simon King stayed with Kiao Dahu in front to talk. Just for young Zhou, the salt merchant Wang Sifeng was imprisoned by the governor and was given 2,000 taels of silver. Simon King asked Kai Taishi for his release. Just as he was sending the rich man away, Simon King called Lai Wang, who ran out of his room. Exactly, the egrets and warblers can be seen hidden in the snow, and the parrots hidden in the willows can only be heard talking. From this we all know that Zui and Lai Wanger are related. One day, Lai Wanger got drunk and scolded Simon King with other family members in front of him, saying why I was not at home. He asked Yu Xiao girl to take a piece of blue satin and coax my wife in the room. He was hung up in the garden and raped. And how did Pan Jinlian become the master of the nest later? Let him, as long as he doesn't hit my hand. I'll teach him how to use a white knife to go in and a red knife to come out. How about you? Let that whore from Pan's family be killed. Kill her. It's just death. You see what I can do. That prostitute of the Pan family thought that he would kill her husband Wu Dao at home, and his brother-in-law Wu Song came to complain, thanks to someone who went to Tokyo to take care of him. Sent Wu Song to the army. Today I stepped on Pingchuan Road, and he was used by him. And he also instigated my wife to support Han. My hatred with him has been growing forever. As the saying goes, if you don't do one thing, you will end up with the other. Don't stop. Talk to me when you are here. I'll beat the emperor to death. Now Lai Wanger knew that he was talking on the road, but he didn't know there was anyone in the grass. And he didn't want to be heard by Lai Xing'er, his family member who was traveling with him. Now Lai Xing'er was at home. Simon King originally sent his comprador to eat and write money to live by. But because of his collusion with Lai Wang's daughter-in-law, he took away the comprador and asked Lai Wanger to take charge of it. Lai Xing'er was at odds with Lai Wang. When he heard these words, he quietly came to Pan Jinlian's room to tell him. Jinlian was sitting with Meng Yulu when she saw Lai Xing'er lift the curtain and come in. Jinlian asked Lai Xing'er, "What brings you here? Whose house did your father go to have a drink with today?" Lai Xing said, "Today, my dad and Ying's second dad went to see the funeral outside. There is one thing I want to tell the old man. Just keep it in my heart. Don't say it is a small thing." Jinlian said, "What do you have to say?" "It doesn't matter," Lai Xing'er said. "Nothing else, Lai Wanger. I don't know where I got drunk yesterday. I was shouting and shouting in front of him. The pig scolded the dog for a whole day. Then he started fighting with the little one. The little one walked over and ignored him. Then he scolded his father and Wu Niang in front of the rest of the family. Pan Jinlian asked, "Why are you scolding me, thief Genzi?" Leixing said, "I dare not say it. Sanyang is here, and she is not someone else." The guy said why dad sent him away and tricked him. His wife asked how Wan Yang could be the master of the nest, so that his wife could sleep with dad in the room until dawn, and sleep at night until dawn. He took down the knife and wanted to kill dad and Wan Yang. The white knife went in and the red knife came out. He also said that Wan Yang was at home, and the poison was placed to kill her husband. Thanks to him going to Tokyo to take care of it, he saved Wan Yang's life. He said that Wan Yang would avenge his kindness, and instigated his wife to raise a man. The younger one wore green clothes and hugged the black man. Let me tell Wu Niang first. Sooner or later I will stop being plotted by that guy. After hearing this, Yulu was astonished, as if he were in a basin of cold water. Jin Lian refused to listen. After hearing this, his face turned red, his silver teeth shattered, and he cursed. This damn slave, I had no enmity with him in the past, but now, his master wants his wife. How can he do it? Are you pestering me? If I teach this slave to stay at Simon King's house, I will never be considered my wife. Why did I owe him for saving my life? Yinfen told Lai Xing'er, "Go ahead, wait until your father comes to ask you. You just say it like this." Lai Xing'er said, "What did Wu Niang say?" The younger one doesn't blame him. He just says one thing. No matter what dad asks, it's just what he said. After that, he went forward. Yulu then asked Jinlian, "Does his father really have a daughter-in-law?" Jinlian said, "Ask that shameless guy. Even a good wife wouldn't be in vain to teach a slave to be blackmailed like this. I have used it before." The slave and whore was originally in Kai Tongpan's house, cheating with his eldest wife to support a man. But she got into trouble and was sent out to marry Zhang Kong. Not only have I seen a man, I have a handful of millet to count, and I don't know what's going on. The strong man concealed the truth and frightened the ghosts, and made Yu Xiao give him satin to make a coat for him to wear. One winter, I want to tell you, but I didn't tell you. That day, the eldest sister went to Kiao Das house to have wine, and we always argue playing chess in front. I saw the girl said that her father was coming home. So why don't we leave behind me? I walked to the back of the door and saw Xiao Yu standing into the corridor. I asked him, and Xiao Yu looked at me and waved her hand. I just laughed. When I got to the garden, I saw Yu Xiao standing at the corner gate, watching the wind for him. I didn't know it yet, so she told me to walk straight into the garden. Yu Xiao stopped me and refused to let me in, saying that dad was inside. "Teach me." I cursed a few words. I went to King to check his account, but I didn't want to go inside. He and his wife were working in the cave. When my wife saw me going in, she came out with a blushing face. His father saw him. I, the sarcastic one, had no shame even after I cursed a few words. The backward daughter-in-law came to the house, knelt down on me and taught me not to say anything to his mother. In the first month of the backward year, his father will entrust the adulteress to the house, spend the night in my room, let me and Chun Mai exchange a few words, and let him stand next to me. The slave who has been killed by thieves, there is no way to drag me into it. Such a coquettish slave and whore, I am willing to let him have sex with Shi-sun in that room. Even I, Chun Mai, that little piece of meat. He won't let him, Yulu said. The angry thief is sitting there, and when he sees me, he seems to be thinking about it, and he can't afford it. Who would have thought that he has this account behind his back? After all, his father shouldn't want him. Where is it? If you can't find a wife, what will it look like to teach your slaves to promote others outside? Jin Lian said, the leather boots on the left and right are not correct. You want a slave wife, and the slave secretly steals your little wife, and they alternate with each other. The slave who steals the little wife, Jin Yi talks about people, Wan Yi choose. Today even if he slaps you, he won't say anything. Yulu said to Jinlian, should we tell his father about Chen? Or not? Big sister doesn't care if that guy is really at ease every time we don't say anything. His father will I don't know what happened to him for a while. Sixth sister, You should still talk about it. Jin Liang said, if I spare this slave, it will be unless he enters the sun and comes out of me. Exactly, if you don't frown in your life, there should be no gnashing of teeth in the world. When Simon King came home at night, he saw Jin Liang in the room with her hair in disorder. She was sleeping with warm cheeks and her eyes were full of tears. When asked why, he recounted Lai Wanger's drunken speech and wanted to kill his master. Seeing that Lai Xing'er heard it in person, he thought about it. You carried the map to his wife, so he secretly wanted your little wife. Your skin the boots have not been straightened out. You deserve to be killed. But what does it have to do with me? You will kill even me. Don't do it before it's too late. No matter how late at night, no one has the backside. They are only afraid of being poisoned by him secretly. Simon King Yin asked, who is related to that guy? Jin Liang said, don't ask me. Just ask Xiao Yu and you will know. He also said, this slave has bullied me for the first time. He told me how I used medicine to kill the man, and you married me because he was looking for a favor to save my life. He was a slave outside. He was already a slave if you don't give birth to a son or a daughter. If you do give birth to a son or daughter, how can you teach thieves and slaves to tell the truth? Dare you say, when your mother had no land at home, it was thanks to me that she saved his life by looking for a favor. What you say is up to you. Your face is tarnished. You have no shame, but I can't do it. Why do you want this life? Simon King listened to the woman's words, walked forward, asked Lai Xing'er to go to a deserted place, and asked him the whole story reason. The boy said it all over and over again. Then he walked to the back and asked what Xiao Yu said, which was exactly what Jin Liang said. One day, I saw Zui coming out of Lai Wanger's house, but his wife was not in the house, so this happened. Simon King was so angry that he beat Sun Zui, but Yunyang repeatedly persuaded him. She took off his head, face and clothes, and told him to accompany his family's wife to the stove, and he was not allowed to see anyone else. This matter is out of the question. Simon King was behind and called Song Huilian because of his jade flute, and asked him in person behind his back. The woman then said, "Oh Dad, you old man didn't say that. He didn't say that. I made a big bet for him. He only drank 2 minutes of wine. How dare he be so bold as to scold Dad behind his back? He also eats King Zhou's water and soil, and says that King Zhou is immoral. Where does he live, Dad? Don't listen to other people's words. Let me ask Dad. Who did you hear saying this?" Simon King was speechless by the mother-in-law. He asked anxiously and said, "Lai Xing'er told me." Huilian said, "Lai Xing'er started to hate me because my father called me a comprador, saying that every time I took something from him, I wouldn't be able to make some money. So I started to hate him. I just sprayed him with blood. So my father believed me. I won't forgive him for this deception. Father, please obey me. Don't teach him to stay at home. Give him a few taels of silver and teach him to be trustworthy, stay away from home, and do business. Sooner or later, he will go out. It would be more convenient for Dad to have a word with me." Simon King was filled with joy after hearing this and said, "My son, what you said is true. I had the intention to ask him to go to Tokyo to make a favor with the salt merchant Wang Zifeng and Grandmaster Kai. When he comes back, he will be escorted to the birthday party. It's because he just came from Hangzhou. When he came home, he asked him to pay the bill and call Bao. Since you said so, I will send him there tomorrow. When he comes back, I will teach him to get 1,000 taels of silver and go to Hangzhou with the supervisor to buy silk threads. Doing business. What do you think?" My wife was overjoyed and said, "It would be great if you waited like this." Just as he was talking, Simon King saw no one, so he hugged him and kissed him. The mother-in-law quickly put her tongue in his mouth, and they smacked together. The woman said, "Dad, you allowed me to braid yenda buns, but why didn't you braid them for me? How long will it last if you don't wear them? Are you just going to teach me to wear this bun all the time?" Simon King said, "It doesn't matter. Tomorrow I will take 8 taels of silver to the silversmith's house to pull the wire for you." Simon King asked again, "I'm afraid your aunt will ask, so how can I answer?" The woman said, "It doesn't matter. I have something to say to him. I just asked my aunt's family to borrow it. What are you afraid of? Then the two of them said after a conversation. They dispersed. The next day, Simon King was sitting in the hall and called Wanger over. Pack your clothes and luggage. And get up in time for tomorrow, March 28th, to go to Tokyo to pay favors to Grandmaster Kai. When you come back, I will also send you to Hangzhou to do business. Lai Wang was overjoyed and promised to come down, go back to his room, pack his luggage, and go shopping for personnel. Lai Xing'er inquired and found out, so he came to report to Jin Lian. Jin Lian asked about Simon King being in the garden shed. When he walked there, he didn't see Simon King, only Chen Jingji sealing gifts there. Jin Lian asked, "Where is your father? What is your seal?" Jingji said, "Dad was here just now and went to exchange the silver from the salt merchant Wang Sifeng with my aunt. The seal I granted as a gift to the Grand Master of Central Kai in Tokyo." Jin Lian asked, "Who to send?" Jingji said, "I heard that my father told Lai Wanger to go yesterday." The Golden Lotus was just getting off the platform and walking towards the garden when it saw Simon King coming in with some silver. Called into the room. He asked him, "Who will be sent to Tokyo tomorrow?" Simon King said, "Lai Wanger and Director Wu will go together, because there is 1,000 silver taels from the salt merchant Wang Sifeng, a clerk, so I have to more go." The woman said, "It's up to you. You won't listen to what I say until you listen to what the slave whore is talking about. She just wants to protect his man. That slave has something to say first. It's not just today. I left you with my wife lying round. I defrauded you of your money. And I took it off again and again, looking at my brother with empty eyes. It's just a waste of your money. It's hard to give someone 1,000 taels of silver. I'm not afraid that you won't compensate him. I say that in your heart. It's up to you. My wife is just for him for no reason. If you don't want to covet his wife, it's not good for you to keep him at home. And it's not good for you to send him out to do business. If you leave him at home, you won't have these eyes to guard against him sooner or later. If you send him out, he will cost you money. The first thing you can do is to talk to him. If you want him to be a slave wife, it is better to send him away from home first. As the saying goes, if you cut the grass without removing the roots, the sprouts will still grow. If you cut the grass with the roots removed, the sprouts will never grow again. Even if you don't worry, your wife will be dead set. After a few words, Simon King was so drunk that he woke up. Exactly, a few words clear the way for a gentleman, and a few words remind the dreamer.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.